Parmala madam, you can start the section.
Good afternoon to one and all, respected speaker, coordinator of this program, and my dear participants. A good afternoon to you all, and welcome back to the session 3 of third day of AICTE ISTE sponsored refresher program on role of artificial intelligence in drug discovery and development. Myself, K. Parmala, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, hosting this session. All of us gain a lot of knowledge about the artificial intelligence in pharma sector from the previous sessions. I hope further too also. And it's a great privilege for me to introduce the speaker of this session, Dr. P. Mallikarjun Rao, Associate Dean for Research and Consultancy, School of Pharmacy, International Medical University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Sir was well qualified with PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Andhra University. Sir has 23 years of experience in teaching, research, curriculum design, development of academic programs, and academic administration. Sir has experience in developing and carrying out industry consultancy research projects with CCM Pharma, Oncozen Novizen, InQ Pharma, RO Pharma, etc. And Sir has a research record of about 80 publications with a good impact factor and H index. And Sir also got 17 patents. 5 of the patented products are also now in the market. Sir guided about 235 UG students, 70 PG students, and 15 PhD students by research and conducting pharma industry consultancy projects in analytical method development and in-process quality control. Sir won many awards in research, including Best Oral Presentations in International Conferences, Best Researcher Award, and also secured $3 million US research grants from international funding agencies. Sir was an expert reviewer and editorial board member of many medicinal chemistry journals like American Chemical Society, Royal Society of Chemistry, elsewhere, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Bentham and BMC, etc. With this brief profile, I welcome you, sir, to talk on artificial intelligence in clinical trials. Sir?
Hi, good afternoon, madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. Thanks for your introduction. Okay. Just 1 minute. I'm going to share my presentation. Please let me know whether it is visible or not.
Okay, sir.
Can you see, madam? Can you confirm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon to everyone. May I know that who are the audience? Are they mostly students or the faculty?
No, sir. Faculty, sir.
Okay, mostly it is faculty. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope all the faculty are from pharmacy, am I right, with pharmacy background?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon to everyone. I hope I am audible to all of you. And if you have any, I think I would like this session to be interactive and rather than to be a boring lecture. Okay, I don't want to give you a lecture. Just I will share my thoughts on how the artificial intelligence can be used in clinical trials. Okay. I use machine learning techniques for drug discovery and development. Okay, and mainly in the early phase of drug discovery, usually to find a drug-like molecules or to design a new molecules. Okay, targeting against a given receptor. Okay, I have never worked on the clinical trials. Okay, but I have read lots of information in the literature, okay, and also I have published a few papers on artificial intelligence, okay, and so here I'm sharing my thoughts and how it can be used, and if you have any questions, actually you can stop me at any point. Yeah, am I clear?
Sir.
Can anyone respond from the audience? Whether I'm clear? Hello? Can someone respond from audience whether I am
Sir, you're clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Um, First thing, this whatever the information that I am presenting here, and all the information is obtained from the web resources and also some of the references. And whatever the views that I'm presenting here, all those are my personal views, and it does not carry any of my institution's views. Okay. At present, I'm working in International Medical University. So all the views that I'm sharing here solely belongs to me. Okay. And my university doesn't have any bearing on this, okay, on my views. And of course, my research team also share the same views that I have with me. This is just the introduction, how the presentation is going to be. I would like to give some background, okay, about artificial intelligence. Of course, I was given a clear instructions that I should not talk much about the artificial intelligence, the definitions, and all those things. Therefore, I'm not going to talk much about it. A little bit introduction about 1 or 2 slides, then a general thing about the drug development cycle, and most of you know about it, but I will see how this drug development cycle is related to the artificial intelligence. And we look at why many drugs fail in clinical trial and what is going to be its impact, okay, on pharmaceutical R&D efficiency. And recently, our team has published a paper in Drug Discovery Today, which is talking about how to improve the pharmaceutical R&D efficiency. Okay, and also we also published one paper in expert opinion in drug discovery, where we discussed about what is AI and where it stands at this point of time. Okay, and those who are interested, they can refer to those 2 papers to find out more the details. And I am also going to talk about the challenges, okay, that usually the people face in a clinical trial in a traditional way. Okay, when we conduct the clinical trials in a traditional way, then most of the things, artificial intelligence is a hypothetical things, and the people are trying, the people are hoping that the AI will do something, but until now we have not seen the fruits of the AI in clinical trials. But there is a lot of potential to it, and I will talk about it. And I also talk about a few startups, those who are specifically do the AI in clinical trials, and those who are interested, and they can check their websites and find out more about what they do. And I will tell you some examples of the artificial intelligence which already we have been using, okay, for various reasons, okay. And sometimes we may be aware or we may not be aware of uh, the fact that we are already using artificial intelligence, okay, to maintain our own health, and which can be translated into the clinical trials. And I'm going to talk about, since majority of the people are with a pharmacy background, just I'm going to give few hints or few things about where the artificial intelligence is being used in pharma industry, and what are the job prospects and what are the jobs that are available or that are advertised in pharma industry with respect to the artificial intelligence. So that means what I'm trying to say is the pharma industry is looking for the people who are experts or who have basic knowledge in artificial intelligence, okay, to be recruited into their industries. Okay. Artificial intelligence, the word is many people do not know exactly what does it mean, and there are lots of synonyms are there, and lot of people refer the artificial intelligence with the different names, and the people will get confused. Of course, I myself always get confused with the terminology that the people use in various textbooks, in various web resources, and in various references or papers. Okay, if we are referring AI with respect to the health, okay, and pharmacy is also a part of health, okay, health education, okay, then we can call that as a digital health because it covers everything, okay. World Health Organization in 2019, okay, they come up with a new discipline like a medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, nursing, like that they come up with a new discipline which is called as digital health. Okay, and what this digital health is, it encompasses everything: artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data, and data analytics. Okay, but pertaining to the health sector. So all these are one and the same. Okay, the people talk about machine learning, the people talk about deep learning, the people talk about the neural networks. Okay, whatever the people that they are talking about, if they are making use of a computer or if they are making use of a particular program to analyze the data to draw a meaningful conclusions, then we can call that as artificial intelligence. Okay. Actually, we have been doing this analysis for a quite long time. That means that we are doing a statistics, okay, but we do on a small data, okay, and if it is a big data and it is coming from the different sectors, that means may come from a social media, it may come from the textbooks, it may come from the blogs, or it may come from the literature, okay, and it may be some are talking about it, then so this the data is available in different formats, okay, so then it's very difficult for humans, okay, to analyze the data which are present in a different formats. Then in that case, we usually nowadays the people are taking help of the computers, okay, and they are using some languages, programming languages, to analyze the data coming from the different sources, okay. And advances in artificial intelligence and ubiquitous sensing and wearable technologies have rapidly led to their adoption in digital healthcare. One of the best examples is the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, nowadays, all the smartphones, they come up with a lot of appliances. Okay, of course, in Malaysia, of course, maybe it might be there in India also now. Actually, wherever I go, by looking at my face, almost it will recognize that I am Malikarjun. Automatically, it will recognize. Okay, and it automatically recognizes what is my temperature, and it will tell that if my temperature is more than 37 degrees centigrade, it gives an alarm that I should not enter. I should not enter into that premises. Okay, everything is digital. And once, suppose if I am entering into a shopping mall, okay, or if I'm entering to my own university and there is a device. So first, if I stand in front of the device, it will recognize me that I'm Arjun, I'm working in IMU. So it will allow me to access. Okay, that is one thing that it will do. The second thing that it will do is it will also sense my temperature and it will tell that my temperature is okay or not okay. And if my temperature is not okay, my entrance door won't open. Automatically it is synced. It won't open at all. Okay. And the third thing that it will do is automatically this information will be captured by the Ministry of Health, and automatically it will alert in my phone, and also it will be alerted to all the healthcare professionals saying that, hey, there is a one suspected case and whose temperature is above 37 degrees centigrade. Then within minutes, I will get a message saying that you are advised to see a clinician. When I go to a clinician, and immediately when I check, suppose if I go to the clinic, I have to check. When I check, automatically it will tell to the Ministry of Health saying that I attended the clinic. If I do not attend the clinic within a half an hour, okay, the policeman will come to my home wherever I am and asking me, could you please go to the clinic? Okay, so that shows everything is there. That means my everything is being monitored, okay, through digital technologies. So all this comes under artificial intelligence. Of course, if you look at the Google Maps and everything, okay. And suppose if I'm traveling to India, when I come back to Malaysia, and they are giving some kind of a technology, some kind of a band wrist, and I need to wear that band wrist for about 1 week or 10 days. And in that 1 week or 10 days, I am not allowed to leave my home. Okay, if at all, if I leave my home within 5 minutes, the policeman can catch, and that means they can sense where they can monitor where I am going, with whom I am. So that is the artificial intelligence. So I'm giving these examples which we are seeing already, and all these are called as an artificial intelligence. Okay, and the hospitals and healthcare industries are using AI to provide effective and smart solutions for patients' care. Okay, so then when you look at this digital health, okay, the people all talk about the machine learning and deep learning, okay, and these are also part of the artificial intelligence. And I'm not going to talk about what is machine learning or what is deep learning, okay. So what they do is they convert the data into some kind of a digital way, and it will help for the humans to analyze. Okay, and what they analyze is they analyze the relationship between maybe our genes. Okay, what are the genes? And it gives the prognosis. Prognosis means, oh, what kind of a disease we may get in future, and what age we can get. Maybe at the age of 30 I may get a diabetes, or at the age of 50 I may get a diabetes, or at the age of 60 I may get a diabetes. Okay, and also now also you can say that even though there are a lot of web tools are there, in that if you can enter your habits, like, okay, whether we drink, whether we smoke, what is our body weight and all those things, and automatically it will tell you what is the chance of getting a cardiovascular heart attack. Okay, when can we get a heart attack? At the age of 50 or at the age of 60? There are a lot of web tools are available, and if you want, actually you can check. Okay, and also it will also predict whether we can get a, whether we are a pre-diabetic or diabetic, all those things. Okay, and that means these are used in the diagnosis, and also it is also nowadays. If you look at the diabetes is a metabolic disorder. It could be because of many reasons. Okay, now if you key in everything, okay, what you eat, okay, how is your sleep, what is your blood glucose level, and what is your lipid profile, it will tell us very clearly what kind of a drug should we use. Okay, should we use simple sulfonylureas, or should we use thiazolidinediones, or should we use the most advanced drugs, or we should use the combination. Okay, and drug development, of course, maybe you might have heard a lot about it. Okay, and a personalized medicine. Nowadays, what the people are talking about is a personalized medicine. Means if you take a particular drug, let us say metformin, a well-known anti-diabetic drug, it works for few people, it doesn't work for few others. Okay, so from that they come to know that it's a personalized medicine. That means the drug, because all we know that being studying a pharmacy, all we know that the drugs will go and act on a particular target. And at the same time, we also know that all the drugs have side effects and all the drugs have adverse effects. Whatever the pharmacological effect that we see, it could be a beneficial effect, that is a therapeutic effect, or it could be a side effect, or it could be an adverse effect. All these three things will arise if and only if that particular drug goes and bind to a particular receptor. Okay, that means, of course, in medicinal chemistry, in the drug development, always we talk about the selectivity, 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 and it's highly impossible to develop a drug, okay, which is very selective on a particular target, because already it's very difficult for us. Of course, there is no single drug without the side effects or without the adverse effects. Okay, but what we do is, if the drug is targeting or more drug is going towards a particular drug, okay, then it will elicit a more beneficial action or more therapeutic action compared to the side effect or adverse effect. So that's why it is called a personalized medicine. That means for some drugs, for some people, some drugs work, and for some people, it doesn't work. Okay, and all this information is somewhat linked to the clinical trials, which I'm going to talk later. Okay, and patient monitoring and care. Just now I told you that suppose if my smartphone recognizes that my what is that called? My temperature is more, and automatically entire Ministry of Health, including policemen, everyone will monitor where I am, what I am doing, where I am going. Okay, so that is the. Then this is about the drug development cycle. I need not to talk too much about it. Most of you people must be aware of this. Okay, and to develop a drug, okay, it is a 2 billion US dollars. Okay, and now it may reach to the 2.5 billion US dollars. Okay, 2.5 billion US dollars. It will talk about 15 years for a drug to reach, okay, from idea, okay, or from a initial bench research to reach to the market is 15 years. Okay, of course, this funnel shape is very familiar. And if you start with the 10,000 compounds, ultimately you will get only one drug. That means the percent success is, okay, 0.01%, 0.01%. Okay, so here the most interesting point is, above for this 2 billion US dollars, 30% cost goes to the initial drug discovery. When it goes to the clinical trials for the phase 1 and phase 2, it is a 40%. And if it is a phase 3 clinical trials, it is a 60%. I'm not going to the details of phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. Maybe you all might be familiar with it. When it goes to the regulatory phase, that means to make an application to the FDA to get approval and all those things, it requires a 20%. Here the thing is, maybe you might have heard about it. In pharma industry, there is something called a mantra. Mantra means fail fast, fail cheap. Okay, in pharma industry, some people will recruit, okay, those people, okay, and new people, they will come in. Their job is to kill the projects in the research in the pipeline, because let us say you take a particular company X, okay, they have a 20 drugs in a pipeline. Suppose if I'm the one who started those 20 drugs, okay, trial, and I know that the company will see that, oh, it is going to be a lot of expenses for us, so they want to kill few things, okay, few drugs. So since I started these 20 drugs, I will be some kind of a bias. I feel that all the 20 compounds are good. In those cases, what will happen means they will bring in someone else. That someone else, a new person who doesn't have any emotional attachment to these 20 drugs, then he will think carefully and see that out of these 20 drugs, these 10 are waste. Okay, because according to that person thinks that these 10 drugs may fail in the clinical trials. Okay, because it is quite apparent, because whenever we do research, am I right, whatever we think, when we do the experiment, it has to happen. If it does not happen, we won't be happy. We are always biased. And if you look at the most of the academic research papers, whatever we think, automatically the results will be there at the end. Okay. So, but in pharma industry, it is a bit different. The reason for that is if you can kill the any discovery project here, you are spending only 30%, still you can save a 70% of the expenses. But if you are a bias and if you are but if you are manipulating the data and if the people manipulate the data, if they have some kind of a affection towards it, usually in pharma industry they don't manipulate the data, but they try to do, they have some kind of an affection. They will push the drugs from here to here. Then when it goes from here to here, what will happen? Okay, they have to spend more money. If they push from here to here, they have to spend much more money. So that's why in a recent, that's why for any pharma company, if a drug fails in a phase 3 clinical trials, the next step that they're going to usually what we see is that pharma company will be for sale because they lose all their resources. Okay, and that is the biggest problem in the pharma industry. Okay, that's why they come up with a mantra, okay, which is called early fail, fail early, fail cheaply. Okay, that means you are kill early and kill cheaply. So that is the thing. That means if you want to kill the, suppose if you have a 20 compounds, could you please kill 19 compounds? That means you are going to select best out of the best. Okay, so this is the thing. So that's why, because this is relevant to what I'm going to talk about. That means the clinical trials. If a compound has failed in a clinical trials, and most of the pharma companies, they will close down their businesses. That's why if you see that in very recently in the past 5 years, many pharma companies were sold, okay, and many pharma companies were merged. Okay, now if you look at the reasons for the failure in the clinical trials, okay, it could be a phase 1 or it could be phase 2 or phase 3 or whatever may be thing. Okay, mostly you will see that 52% of the drugs fail, okay, because of the efficacy reasons. That means in the in vitro tests, in the animal tests, the drug molecules fantastically do well, okay, according to the data. But when they put into the humans, they don't show the efficacy. Okay, whereas 24%, okay, um, they exhibit side effects or adverse events. Okay, so if you look at the 52 plus 74% is about almost 76%. Okay, 70% of the drugs fail because they do not show efficacy. Okay, then it's quite surprising. Okay, in vitro tests, they did a fantastic job. In animals, they did a fantastic job. But however, when it goes to the clinical trials, 52%. Okay, usually in the phase 1, and if you see the phase 2, okay, 48%, and even in phase 3, 55%. So even though it is going through phase 1 to the phase 2 and phase 2 to phase 3, still you can see that the challenges are the same. Okay, it is the efficacy and also this one. Then I'm going to talk about later why is it so? Why the drugs are not showing efficacy in humans, whereas it shows a fantastic results in animals and in vitro. Of course, this is talking about the category of the drugs, okay? But mostly, of course, most of the research is happening on cancer. The reason on cancer is majority of the people are dying because of the cancer, and most of the people who die and this cancer is very prevalent in developed countries. In these developed countries, the people are very rich. Okay, that's why the pharma industries spend more money on cancer research because they will get a return on investments. For example, if you take this COVID-19 pandemic, okay, now if you look at the Pfizer, because of course there are many vaccines, Pfizer is the one, Pfizer and Moderna, they are the one of the most widely used vaccines. And it's quite surprising to hear that, okay, for 1 second, per second, Pfizer is earning 1,000 US dollars, okay, with 73% profit, okay, per second. Okay, then you can see that how much money that Pfizer company is making out of this COVID-19 vaccines. Okay. So the reasons for the failures in clinical trials, this one I already told you, the mantra of the pharma R&D, fail fast, fail cheap. Okay, and this is the one that they look at. Okay, especially big companies like a Pfizer and AstraZeneca and GSK, and they hire the managers R&D, especially an R&D who can make a decision, okay, to kill majority of those projects, because if they cannot fail the drugs in the initial stages, the pharma company is going to be in loss. Okay, why is it so? Okay, now you can see suboptimal patient cohort selection. Okay, this is a very, very key point. Huh? Just now I told you that in the beginning I said that a drug work in a different way in different people. So when you are conducting a clinical trial, if you randomly select the patients, how do we know whether the drug is going to work or not? So that's why if you select a wrong people or wrong patient population, your drug may not show the efficacy, or the drug may show the side effects. That's why when you are taking an animal model, okay, you are taking an animal model, you are selecting, or you want to get a diabetes model, or you want to have a hypertension model, or you want to have a obesity model, or you want to have a cancer model. You are properly choosing the animal model and you are giving a drug, so it is showing the effectivity. But when it comes to the patient population, so you don't do those kind of screens in general in the past. Okay, nowadays the people might be doing. So that's why the drug may not show the efficacy at all. The reason for that is already we know that the drug works on a particular target. Okay, the patient that we have selected may not have that particular target, may not have that target is overexpressed, because we know that there are some genes or there are some proteins which are overexpressed in a particular disease condition. So if you select a candidate who has that overexpression of that gene, okay, then only your drug works. Okay, so if you randomly recruit because if you say the diabetes could be because of more than one reason, the cancer may be because of more than one reason. And if we do not know what is the particular gene or what is the particular protein that is overexpressed in that particular candidate, because we know that we develop the drug basing upon a particular target. So that is one of the reasons why you will see a lot of failures in the clinical trials because of the efficacy and also because of the safety. So, and also the recruiting mechanism, because we do not know the people. Okay, we say cancer. Okay, there are 10 cancer patients. Okay, you recruit, but all these 10 cancer patients have the similar similar pathophysiology. It's very difficult to predict, and also ineffective monitoring of the patients. At this point of time in the past, we do not know whether the person take the medicine or not. We do not know what food that person is taking or not, what food he is taking, whether he is sleeping properly or not, or is he taking other medicines or not, because we know that there are drug interactions. We also know that food drug interactions. Okay, so we do not know. It completely depends upon the patient. If the patient do not follow strictly, then the drug may not show the efficacy. The drug may exhibit some kind of a side effects. Okay, because we know that there are drug interactions. So from this, actually, you will correlate why majority of the drugs are failing in the clinical trials. It may not be due to the drug, it may be due to the wrong selection of the patients. Okay. And the challenges in the patient selection is, okay, we do not know what are who are eligible for this, who are eligible to be this one. That means we need to know the genomic profiling of that particular candidate. And if you see the genome, millions of genes are there in a human. So how do you analyze? How do you analyze those genes? How do you analyze which gene is overexpressed and which gene is expressed low? Unless otherwise you have a some kind of a algorithm or some kind of a intelligence system, it will tell that, hey, out of these 1,000 genes, oh, this particular gene is overexpressed. This particular gene is linked to this particular cancer. Okay, then only you can see that. Suppose if there is no such mechanism, it's very difficult. And motivation means the patient should have a motive, should be motivated. Okay, the patient who is participating in the clinical trial should be motivated to take the drug. Okay, so how that person can be motivated? That person can be motivated provided that the person thinks that, hey, whatever the drug that I'm going to do, it is going to cure me. It is going to help me. How do you convince him? How do you convince a patient? Okay, because patient is not a medical specialist, so we should talk in a layman's language, and the clinicians and the pharmacists may not convey the message in a layman's language. Whereas the artificial intelligence and all those things, they can convey the scientific language to the layman's language. So then if it is conveyed to the patient will get motivated. Yes, as I think it seems in my body, this particular gene is overexpressed. It seems that there is a research. Research says that this particular drug acts on this particular target. So I'm going to get cured. So that person will get motivated. When that person get motivated, that person will prefer to adhere to the regulations. And empowerment. Empowerment means we should allow the patient to make a decision, okay, to take the drug or not. We cannot force the patient, because even if you force the patient, of course, in India, of course, unfortunately, it's sad to say that, okay, because of the people under the poverty line, okay, that's why the people who participate in clinical trials are mostly belong to the category where their income is very low, okay. And suppose we know that when the income is very low, most of the people are alcoholics and all those things, okay. And they participate in this one for the money, okay. So whereas the rich people and educated people, usually they do not follow, they do not participate in the clinical trials, okay. So that's why, but when you, that means, but even a rich person, when he comes to know about, hey, this drug, this new drug, okay, it is going to be work in this way, so it seems my gene is so expressive, so they can be this one, okay. And also the medical history, okay, because just imagine, since childhood, we go to the different hospitals. So that means, let us say my history, once upon a time I was in India, now I'm in Malaysia. Okay, for the past 15 years, 17 years, I'm in Malaysia. So in the past, my entire history is in India, but now my history is in Malaysia. So when I was small, it's only a small prescriptions, okay, or it may be a handwritten prescription. But now after time, it is a typed one. Now it is a computer one. Now it's a digital one. So if I want to get a history, because when we want to get a history since birth, so since birth, if you see that it is in a different formats, okay, if someone is in written format, maybe someone might have told me only verbally, okay, some are there in electronic format. So it's very difficult for humans, to compile all this data to come up with a meaningful conclusions. But whereas if you have the artificial intelligence, it can uncover. Eligible patient may not be at this stage of the disease, because we know that, okay, let us say, for example, again, you take the COVID-19. Okay, COVID-19, if you look at this one, there is an incubation period, then there is a, proliferation period, then it goes to the another period which causes what it is called as autoimmune. That means respiratory distress. Okay, so that's why if you look at this entire COVID-19, at the beginning, you can give an antiviral, okay, or you can give a vaccine before you contract the disease. So then you can be protected. But once you infected, then before it proliferates, before the virus proliferates, you have to give an antiviral drug. You have to give an antiviral drug. Okay, then but if you don't give, but if you don't give that at that stage, and when it is really giving these what is that called immune reactions and inflammatory reactions, at that stage, if you give antiviral drug, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to give the anti-inflammatory drugs. That means if you look at the COVID-19, because I'm taking this example of COVID-19 because that is a pandemic everyone is talking about. So there are 3 stages. Before contracting, you will take vaccines. Okay, but once you contract the disease, if you give a vaccine, it's not useful. Okay, that's first thing. Second thing is, while the virus is proliferating, you should give an antiviral. At that point, if you give a vaccine, it doesn't help. At that point of time, if you give a anti-inflammatory, it doesn't work. When the second one is immune reactions, that is inflammatory reaction. At that time, if you give antiviral, it doesn't work. You have to give what is this called anti-inflammatory drugs. So it's very difficult when you recruit a patient. You really need to know that at what stage the person is. Then only accordingly you give a patient. That means you take a COVID-19 patient, okay, and that person is already in a last stage, and you want to check the efficacy of the antiviral drugs. You won't see the efficacy at all. Then you come to a wrong conclusion. Oh, the antiviral drug is not effective, but that's not the reason. The reason is you have not chosen a right patient who is at the right stage. Okay. Then eligible patient may not belong to the specific subphenotype, which is the drug target, because we know that there are many drug targets, and a particular disease is due to many reasons. Okay, then it may not be. That is also could be one of the reasons for the failures. Okay. And eligible patient may not be given appropriate incentives to participate. Okay, this is the general things. Okay, and it is very too complex a recruitment process. That means you have to advertise all these things manually. Doing is very difficult. Not aware of a matching trial. This is very important. Of course, if you look at the COVID-19, over the many, of course, if I'm not mistaken, if you look at the clinical trials, already there is about more than 7,000 clinical trials are going on for COVID-19 infection. One of the good things with the 7,000 clinical trials is, okay, that means subsequent clinical trials, they will go back and check, oh, what patients they have recruited, because they have a huge population data. And then they can look at, oh, this person has responded, this candidate did not respond. Then they look at their genetic profiling, they look at their history. From that, that means this artificial intelligence work if you have a very huge data, if you have a very big data. Okay, so in the case of COVID-19, it is very useful. That's why I'm very hopeful in future. Okay, definitely you will get a better drugs. Why you will get a better drugs? Always, because for any disease, initial stages you won't find a better drug, and most of the drugs fail in clinical trials. But over the years, it's not because of the better drug that scientists invented. It is because one of the reasons is because they have learned from these clinical trials, oh, this drug worked in this patient, this drug doesn't work in this patient. Why? What could be the reason? And nowadays the people are using artificial intelligence to look at all this data, because now if you see maybe this COVID-19, maybe there may be millions of patients are there who might have received these vaccines, who might have received these kind of drugs. And all those are nowadays everything health record is an electronic one. Then the artificial intelligence can do these things. Okay, and 86% of all trials do not meet the enrollment timelines. That's why if you look at this COVID-19, okay, clinicaltrials.gov, okay, you see that, okay, not yet enrolled. Enrollment is delayed. You will see all these things. And 1/3 of all phase 3 trials fail due to enrollment problems. That means they do not select the right patient. And patient recruitment takes 1/3 of the overall trial duration. Patient recruitment itself will take a very long time. Okay, trials with the highest patient demand suffer the most. Let us say COVID-19, many people are there, so it's very difficult to find the people. Okay. And the another one is a cohort composition. Are trials not designed to demonstrate the effectiveness in random set of patient populations? Okay, so that's why it is called as a clinical trial enrichment. That means you cannot recruit the people whatever the people who are available. What you need to do is you need to really have the genetic profiling of the people, and from the genetic profiling and use artificial intelligence, you try to match. Okay, this is the drugs target, and these are the people who express this particular gene. So you put them together. Okay, that is called clinical trial enrichment. Participation of not suitable patient decrease the observed efficacy. So if you increase the people who are not, who do not express that kind of a subtype, efficacy will be low. Recruitment of high number of suitable patients does not guarantee success of a trial. That is sure. Okay, but what it will do is, but unsuitable patients, if you take, if you take, then definitely there is a high chance of failure. Okay. Now, just I'm taking whatever I just now I told you, I'm taking this example of again COVID-19. Okay, this is what we saw: alpha variant, beta variant, gamma variant, delta variant, and Omicron variant. Okay, because some people say that this vaccine works, some people say this vaccine doesn't work. You know why? Because in general, all this COVID-19 virus only, but in this COVID-19 various, this one you can see there are a lot of mutations. In a similar way, in diabetes also there are a lot of genes involved. In also there are a lot of gene mutations. Because of these gene mutations, drugs will work in a different way in different people. Okay, of course, I'm not going to the details. This is a simple example where you can see this. Okay, and you can see what are the differences. Okay, in the of course, these are all the amino acid mutations. And you look at this one. These are the most famous ones. One is the Delta, for which India is should be very proud of, because this is the one which is emerged from India. Okay, and it has about 9 mutations or something like that. Okay, and now Omicron, which is very recent ones. Of course, in India now you can see how many people are getting affected. Okay, there are about 50 mutations. There are 50 mutations. That means a vaccine that works for Delta may not work for this. That means when you are recruiting a patient to test the efficacy of the vaccine, okay, we need to be very careful in choosing a person. That means first thing we should know whether that person has a Delta variant or Omicron variant. If you do not know that, that, then you cannot say. That's why if you look at the efficacy of the clinical trials, efficacy of the vaccines at this point of time, it is very, very difficult to believe those results because we do not know whether they have taken the correct right population or not. Okay, so this is one of the examples why selecting a right candidate for the clinical trials is the most important. And here also you can see that, of course, this is the wild type, this is the Delta type, this is the Omicron type. Okay, in Delta they say 9 mutations, you can see 34 mutations. Suppose here if you give only 2 doses, you can see that a population is getting better. But if you see Delta, see some people are not getting it. Okay, but if you see the Omicron, many people are not getting neutralized, Okay, but same COVID virus, symptoms are the same, but the causative thing is different. But of course, this is what they're trying to boost. Okay, when they say 3 doses, all the things. Okay, whether it is a Delta, whether it is a normal or Delta type or Omicron type, 3 doses works better. Okay, that's what they say, but still we should not believe this. But this is the latest results that is published in Science. And if you look at the infectivity, that's what the people are talking about. The Omicron is more infective. Okay, this is 4 times more infective than this wild type. Okay, and of course the same analogy you can correlate, because I'm taking this as example because now the COVID-19 is, everyone knows about the COVID-19, and it's easy for us to understand, okay, why selection of a right patient in clinical trials is the most critical, okay, for the success of a drug candidate. Okay, now the challenges in the patient monitoring. Okay, and first of all, when we recruit the people, usually the phase 3 clinical trials, it will take a very long time, 3 to 5 years. So some people will get bored with taking the drugs, so they may stop taking the drug and all those things. They may withdraw from that, and they do not adherence to the trial procedures. They do not strictly follow, the dose protocol, and everything, and the measurement of the clinical endpoints. That means sometimes the people will forget to take out the what is it called, blood and all those things, and the average dropout is about 30%. Okay, usually suppose if the 100 people recruited, 30 people will drop out before this one. But to have a statistical power, we should maintain the size. Okay, so that's why we need to recruit more people. So when you recruit more and more people, that means you recruited someone, okay, and they have withdrawn, you are recruiting some more people, so it is going to increase the cost. Okay, and yeah, and patients and clinicians require to keep detailed records. That is also one of the things, what medicines they take, how the body works, because we know when the clinical trial is for 6 years, in that 6 years anything can happen to that particular patient. Okay, So he may contract some other diseases and all those things, and those diseases may affect the efficacy of a particular drug. In general, the 48% of the patients, they do not affect. And something, and you know that, let us say, for example, if anyone is on steroids, usually the people take steroids high doses in the initial days, and slowly they're tapering down the dose. Okay, so so in a clinical trial, it's very difficult for us to see that whether we have to taper down the dose or whether we have to maintain the dose. If sometimes if you maintain the dose, it may cause side effects and sometimes adverse effects. So, but if you do not have any kind of a help from the computers, it's very difficult for us to see whether we have to maintain the same level or we have to taper down the dose. Okay. So sometimes the doses, amount and frequency can be reduced. So it can help in reducing the dropout, because suppose you you ask a patient to take a drug 3 times a day, but later on if you ask him to take only 2 times a day, he will be happy. But if you ask him to take 3 times throughout for 5 years, that person may fed up and all those things. And so that's why, but it's very difficult for any clinician, during clinical trial stage, whether they need to maintain the same dose or they have to reduce the dose or they can reduce the doses. Then these are the ideal ways, okay, that means to confirm the expression of the biomarkers, okay. Yes, of course, there are a lot of advancements were happened, especially when they started this, when human genome project was completed. That means now, I know it's very cheap. Now I heard that even COVID-19 also, in India, it's only hardly 750 Indian rupees, okay, to find out the virus that is present in a particular person is wild type, delta, or omicron, gamma, beta. So cheap nowadays. Even entire human genome, if you go to this one, I think it will come around a maximum of 20,000 Indian rupees. And you will know exactly what genes are there, what genes are good, what genes are bad, and you know that okay, what kind of a diseases we can be contracted. That's fine. But genome itself is a huge data, but if you want to have a, in a phase 3 clinical trial, usually the size is so big, it's 100,000 people. How do you analyze the genome of 100,000 people? It's very, very difficult. Okay, do it with a single brain. Okay, omics data should be combined with EHR. EHR means electronic health records. Okay, of course, nowadays most advancing countries they're trying to put all the data available with EHR. Okay, of course, nowadays in UK and in US, especially when we are taking the insurance, what they do is when you buy a insurance, health insurance, they are also giving some kind of a watch type thing, wearable technology, and this one automatically linked to a particular clinic. If something goes wrong, automatically it will the alarm will be there in the clinic, and immediately that the clinician will call us, hey Arjun, something is going wrong with you, could you please come to the clinic as quickly as possible. Then you can see that what is the benefit to the what is it called, insurance companies. The benefit is if that person dies, am I right, they have to pay a lot, but that's why they're going to lose a lot. But this thing is going to help them. It is going to help them, okay, in saving their expenses, and also it is also going to help the patient to protect themselves, and those kind of things are coming nowadays. And for humans, different locations, different hospitals in different formats. This one I have already explained. And sometimes it is in images. Okay, here what I can see is nowadays, again, you take the COVID-19. When you go to the COVID-19, test, they do the lung X-ray. If anyone has seen that, if you look at the report, in that report, actually they will say that because in tuberculosis, also the lungs will be affected. In asthma, also the lungs will be affected. But to see the differentiate, whether it is asthma or it is a tuberculosis or it is because of COVID-19, nowadays, if you look at that one, am I right? Actually, it will tell, oh, it could be COVID-19. How they tell, because all over the world they integrated all the images of the CT scans of the images of the lungs. Okay, and from that they use the artificial intelligence technique to see, okay, which are very characteristics of the COVID-19. Okay, so that's why when we go there, when we take the image and automatically it is integrated, that image will be matched with a millions of the images and it will tell that it is going to be this one. Okay. Hi, any questions are there? I see some kind of a noise. Can I proceed? Could someone respond,
proceed,
please?
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now the AI. Just now I saw the mantra of drug discovery. In the same thing, mantra of AI is analyze 4 V's: volume, velocity, veracity, and variety. Because nowadays, if you simply Google COVID-19, you see how much information is available in the web. So how can we analyze how to believe which is right and which is wrong? So there is a huge amounts of volume there and velocity. Today, if you Google, maybe you may get a 2 million hits. Tomorrow you may get a 2.5 million hits. So much. Veracity, some are good information, some we cannot believe. Okay, some they bluff. And variety, some are there in YouTube videos, some are there in Facebook, and some are there in LinkedIn, some are there in textbooks, some are there this one. So, but only the AI is the only one that can do all these things. And of course, the machine learning and deep learning, it will do the different things. Okay, text, speech, images, and natural language processing and optical character. Of course, those who use the what is that called iPhone. Actually, everything also you can say that you can use simply. You can talk automatically. Suppose if I want to call to Professor Lakshman, I can say that, hey, could you please connect to the Lakshman? That's all. If I speak automatically, the phone will ring to the Professor Lakshman. That is called language recognition. That is also an artificial intelligence technique. Right? And the human machine interface. Okay, in any company that belongs to the artificial intelligence, there are two people, because there should be someone who should know how the computers work or how the artificial intelligence works. And there should be someone who should know that what does it mean? Okay, what does it mean to me? What does it mean to a particular disease? That's why in artificial intelligence, there are two of this. In a pharma industry, there will be two people will be there. One is called as the content expert. The content expert usually is the computer science engineer or artificial intelligence expert. The another one is a domain expert, actually, who can understand what the machine is talking about. Okay, so these are the few important things in AI. Okay, in artificial intelligence. Okay, so what we need to do is the people use machine learning, deep learning, natural language process, optical character recognition, and human machine interface. Okay, to get data. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to do improved patient trial matching, improved recruitment, effect, improved adherence, reliable and efficient endpoints. Okay. Then these are the key things that the people use. Okay. One is a phenotyping. Phenotyping means what kind of a patient is suitable. Okay. That's why nowadays the people will say that, okay, even if I go for a what is it called, my heart scan, automatically it will tell, hey Arjun, you have a 2% of getting a heart attack at the age of 50, a 5% of risk at the age of 60, 7% of risk at the age of 80. It will tell exactly. Okay, and 90% of the time, 95% of the time, their predictions are correct. Okay, and prognostic machine learning for prognostic enrichment. That means sometimes what will happen is, for each and every time, you want to take the blood, or sometimes, if you look at the COVID-19, when it was started, what to do? The people say that we have to put inside the nose and we have to do that and we have to check. But it's very uncomfortable, But nowadays it is coming like a saliva. Okay, and the another thing is a simple blood glucose. It's very painful, You have to pick and you have to take the blood. But nowadays there is nothing. And nowadays the people are looking at even from saliva you can check the glucose. even from what is it called, from breath also the people can check, even from skin also they check. And of course in another 1 year's time, actually you can see that iPhone is coming with a phone where if you wear it, automatically it will tell what is the blood glucose levels. Of course now you know that these watches, it will tell that what is your heart rate, what is your blood pressure, and what is your oxygen levels, whether you got a good sleep or not, what time you got a good sleep, what time you did not get a good sleep, and everything. So in that way, these things, because all those comes under machine learning, automatically it will tell, because there is one algorithm, and here machine is a watch, and there is some kind of a software. That software is being converted to some kind of a output that we can understand. Okay, and also the clinical is a clinical trial simulation for predictive enrichment. That means we have to identify the biomarkers, and at the same time we also need to see. Suppose, for example, I'm taking an example. If you are going for a home loan or housing loan to the bank, do you think that simply they will give the loan? No, they will check lots of things. How do they check? Especially if you look at the ICICI Bank, they use an artificial intelligence technique, and they look at all our things. They look at all our things. How much is our salary? How much our expenses? How much did you? That's why if you look at Aadhaar card and all those things, that is one of the purposes. But if you, let us say in foreign countries, especially in Malaysia, if I want to buy something, definitely I need to key in my ID. So that means whatever I am buying for my home, everything is very clear. So from that, they know that what are my expenses, what is my bank balance, how much I am spending per month, how many kids I have, how many are family members. They put all these things together, and they say that, oh, okay, I can give a loan to this guy because this guy can pay back to me. That is simple. That is as simple as that. And in clinical trials also, they use the same things. Okay. Then this one, patient population, okay, reducing the population heterogeneity, because you need to, because you are taking 100 people, all the 100 people, if you recruit with a particular gene, then the results will be good. And choosing a right patients who are more likely to have a measurable clinical endpoint, okay, and identifying a population, and of course, this kind of biomarkers, this is what I already told. And for this to be successful, this is also important. Preclinical discovery is the most important. That's why I say that there are two mantras: discovery, uh, fail fast, fail cheap. That is one thing. That will also tell you are going to select the best out of the best candidates to the clinical one. Then when it comes to the clinical trials, there is AI mantra, okay, 4 Vs. So from that, you will know what is the right population, to whom you should recruit. And once you, because from you also will know that who will stay and who won't stay. Because usually these volunteers, they will participate in many clinical trials. They participate in many clinical trials. So these people will know that how this particular person behaved in the past. That's why, let us say, even home loans also. First you buy a car, okay, a small thing, or if you buy a bike, they will give. But after that, if you are a prompt payment, if you pay things promptly, then they will give more loan to you when you go for a house. Okay, when you want to buy a house or when you want to buy a bungalow. The same thing is also here. So because in different clinical trials, same people will participate. If the person behaves well in the previous one, and automatically this the AI algorithms will predict that person will be adhere to the rules and regulations. Okay. And this one also, I told you that it will also help. Okay, there is a medical jargon. That's why whatever the pharmacists we speak, the layman cannot understand. Big data presented different in different formats. Okay, it is impossible to extract by clinicians and patients. Okay, and suppose we can tell to the because patient can search web. Of course, nowadays everyone is checking a Google. Okay, but they check, but they don't know what it is. But if you have something, because that's why you see that there are a lot of apps are there. Whatever the language that you want Gujarati, or you want Orissa, you want what is that called, Hindi, you can get all the things. Okay, then it make the patients to understand. And assistance to the clinicians by supporting in the analysis of patients' biomarkers, drug targets, and the correlation between them. Okay. Then, of course, this is what I'm saying that, okay, this is what we are wearing, watch, and automatically this will be stored in the cloud. It is accessed by everywhere. and of course it goes to the clinician, and also there is a AI model which is going to predict that something is going wrong. Okay, even for example, someone says that, okay, if you ask yourself why the blood glucose level more than something is called diabetic, why? Because if it is more than that, because the so far the data is saying that they suffer with lots of diseases. Okay, and also if the cholesterol level is high, they say that there is a high chance of cardiovascular risk. That doesn't mean that all the people whose cholesterol levels are high suffer with heart diseases. It may be true or it may not be true. Okay, and here there are some things that I'm saying that you can see that the people are also looking at how good they are. This wearable, this one. Okay? These are the three things. Okay, few things that the people are trialing out, and this is the summary of what I said just now. Okay, AI, it is entire from designing to the end. It will tell. Okay, that means in the designing itself, you can use artificial intelligence. That means you can see that which is suitable. Okay, suitable. Who are the suitable people, and whether the people are eligible for that one or not. You can empower the people. Okay, that means the patients can make their own decision, and you can motivate them, and you can make them. You can monitor them whether they are adhere to this. To poke anything automatically when you wear this one, automatically it will tell. Okay, and also you can make them retain, and these are the various AI techniques they use. Okay, that's why you can use machine learning. Okay, reasoning means it requires human intervention. So you see machine learning, you can also see machine learning here, also you can see machine learning, and these are the outputs. Okay, and the data, these are the data. That means you can see, you can take the electronic medical record, electronic health record. You can look at the literature. You can look at the social media, what is available in the Facebook, what is available in the YouTube. Okay, you can also use this watches, and the people who are talking, that thing also, and looking at the videos, all these things. Okay, these are the outputs. Okay, I think I'm running out of the time. Okay. Okay, and
Sir,
it
excuse me,
seems someone is talking. Could you please ask
sir.
them to?
All the participants are requested to mute yourself, please. Saujanya ma'am.
One of the challenges is digitalization of the record. That is one thing. And nowadays the people are worried about this. Even I myself is worried because after COVID-19, wherever I go, I will be captured. Everyone knows where I am because my message authority is with me in my phone.
Excuse me, sir. We lost your voice, sir.
Now, can you hear, madam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. I think this one. Yeah. There are a lot of ethical issues because even now, if you see COVID-19 vaccine, some people want to take, some people don't want to take. Okay, and the people are getting worried because wherever they go, it is going to be recorded. Everyone knows where I am nowadays. Whether I'm at home or whether I'm watching movie, where I am, it is going to be accessed. Okay, and of course now. If you look at this iPhone and all those things, the people can easily check where I am. Okay, so this lack of regulatory framework, so the people do not know what is the regulations, okay, whether we should use or we should not use. If you look at the COVID-19 vaccine, even Indian government also cannot make it mandatory. Maximum what they can do is, please, we encourage the people to do. Okay, if you look at the US and you look at the Europe people and all those things, there is a legal protection. They say that, hey, it's me. I don't want to wear the mask. I don't want to have an injection. I don't want to have a vaccine. So all these kind of things are there. So that's why it is sometimes it's very, very, very difficult. Even if I recruit a patient, if anyone recruits a patient, at the beginning that patient says that yes, I will take. Afterwards he will say I won't take. Then you say that, hey, why are you not taking? Hey, it's my personal right. Who are you to ask me? So these kind of a thing. The success of AI depends upon the amount of available and reliable data. This is the most important point. All the scientists, they should play ethical role and a professional role. That means whatever the data they put in, okay, this is another mantra that is there, or something in data analytics. If you put rubbish in, you will get rubbish out. Okay, that means if you put a very reliable data, very quality data, you will get a very good predictions. Okay, that's why some people say that criticize. Okay, AI is not helpful. AI is not useful in drug discovery. To me, what I say is why it is not, why people don't see success so far is because the people who are putting in the data is not a clear data, is not a reliable data. Okay, whatever the values that they give is not reliable, and the different people use, okay, let us say if you say anti-diabetic activity, the people use different models. So that's why we do not know which model is correct. That's why it is very difficult to predict. But AI is very good. AI is really fantastic, because we should believe AI, because even actually the people can recognize what I am by looking at my picture. Even if I talk, actually the people recognize who am I, and the people can find out where I am. And actually my watch can tell that what is my BP, can tell whether what time I got a good sleep. That means AI really works. AI really works. If you look at the Google map, okay, automatically if I want to go to the what is it called, any place I want to go, just put a Google map and I click, automatically it brings me there. That means what? AI really works. AI really works. Then why it won't work in pharma industry? Why it works in a Google Maps? The reason for that is Google Map is an image. Okay, it is done by a single person. So it captured the entire Earth's image. So it's only one person or one technique. That's why it predicts very well. Whereas here, this is scientific data. Scientific data is coming from the different people, okay, in different formats. So it's very difficult to trust which one is correct and which one is not correct. So for it to be successful, what has to be done is they should have a standard protocols across all entire world. If anyone wants to do diabetes, they should say that this is the protocol everyone should follow, and all the papers should publish only the results which who use this data, who use this model. Then only it works. Until that point, it doesn't work. So okay, these are the things that what I'm talking about. This is the patient, this is the investigator, and all these things are there nowadays. Okay, just you can put watch, everything will be captured. Okay, then these are the what I see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the startup companies. Okay, those who want to know more about this AI in clinical trials, they can look at it. And okay. And the people say one of the advantage is 70% of the people are happy with this AI technology, because they need not to go. They can stay at home and need not to go to the clinic, need not to see the patient. Okay. And 70%, that means now, you take an example of COVID-19. You see COVID-19, there are a lot of restrictions in the movement of the people. Then you say that how these clinical trials were happened because of the artificial intelligence, because of the digital wearables. Nowadays you see that after 19 only, now we come up with some kind of a devices. It will tell the saturated pressure of the oxygen. Before that, the technique is that technology is not available. Nowadays the people know, just you put a clip, automatically it will monitor what is the oxygen levels. And 94% of the investigators find it very useful. 68% of patients, they find it flexible. Okay. And of course, mainly this thing like recruitment, patient engagement, speed, cost, efficiency. Now, this is what the people are talking about. It is called as a hybrid. It can be at home sometimes, then it's site, home, site, home. That's why this one here IMP means investigational medicinal product. Okay, then I actually Prof. Lakshman also asked me that not only that, you also talk about something that the people can use. Okay, in our lab we use NIME software, okay, which is freely available for the academicians. and it has a lot of machine learning techniques, a lot of this one. And to be honest, I do not know how they develop. Only thing that I know is how to make the predictions. Okay, and we have developed our own models, nine working flow models, and actually here I can put the data. Most important thing is all the data should be in Excel format. Excel, Microsoft Excel is the best input. Okay, then from that automatically it will take. But what I do is I do not do the clinical trials itself, but however I do in a initial drug discovery. Very recently, one of my colleagues, Miss Markitke, she is the one who actively works on these 9 workflows and to design the drugs using machine learning and the deep learning techniques. And it's very difficult for me to explain each and everything, and it's a quite thing. And of course, this is one that we use for data cleaning, and even this also, of course, nowadays. Suppose those who are interested in medicinal chemistry, you know that there is some format called a SMILES. SMILES is also simple letters, and usually there is a 4 or 5 alphabets are there. That's all, and from that you will know what structure it is. Okay, so usually we use that, and these are the some kind of a different kind of a machine learnings. You know, XGBoost, okay, ensemble predictor, random forest, Bayer's net, Weeks predictor, logistic ones. Okay, and those people who are using any medicine, they should know what is meant by ROC. Okay, yeah, this kind of a things, and actually it makes the things easy. So here, once I put the data here, automatically I will get all the things here. Okay, and a very recent example, I can say that we are working on a particular target. We started with about 2 million of compounds which are available in Zinc database, and ultimately we could able to come with how many compounds? 13. Yeah, we come up with a 13 compounds that is found to be this one. You know, from where are the compounds? Where are the 13 compounds? Of course, out of the 13 compounds, we found only 8 compounds are found to be active. So we cannot say that 100% will be successful. But the good thing is, instead of screening the 2 millions of compounds, I can screen only 13 compounds. It saves a lot of money. Of course, together with this, we also use a computational-aided drug discovery, like a Hawking, molecular dynamics. You put all these things together, and we do the things. Okay, and this is kind of a text mining. Okay, so because this is where we do. So sometimes we see in a Twitter, in YouTube, in Facebook, in what is this called? In LinkedIn, see sometimes the people talk about or they use this kind of a drug. They found this one is useful, this one is useful, and we also put all those things into here. Not only from the scientific databases, we also use a social media to put it here and get the things. Okay, and techniques that the people use. And of course, I think I can stop here. And these are the, okay, sorry, I should not stop. Okay, this is what the pharma industry do. Pharma industry, what they do is they employ data scientists, machine learning, computer vision, and whichever is blocked, those are the important things. And this is where they are doing. Now the pharma industry, if you ask where they are investing in artificial intelligence, okay, they are using machine learning and data science across all these things. Okay, target identification, lead optimization, clinical trials, drug approval, manufacturing, all those things. Okay, whereas this one still they can ignore, and these things they have to invest. They are investing, and there are a few things they are exploring. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, that means machine learning and data science. Okay, machine learning is a computer scientist, and data science is a pharmacist. I think this is where they are investing across all. And if you see the jobs, okay, only in pharma companies, in jobs, in the last year, you can see that there are 2,964 jobs. Okay, these are the active jobs. Okay, that it is continuously growing. Okay, AI. And you look at what are the companies which are this one, and mostly it is a pharma R&D companies, and it is the top 10 companies. Okay, Johnson and Johnson. These are the things that they are employing. They are investing in AI. They are taking this one. That's why learning AI is not a big thing. Okay, you need not to know the programming, but as a pharmacist, as a scientist, you should know how to use it. Once, of course, there are nowadays edX platform is there, Coursera platform is there. Lot of courses are available to learn the data science. You need not to go anywhere, and lot of data sets are available. And if you spend time, actually you can grant. And like that only, actually we have learned. Of course, my students helped me a lot, and they teach me a lot. I learn a lot from my students. That is one of the beauty of the academicians. We need not learn anything. Just we can ask a student, that the student will find the information. The student, especially the research students, they will come back and tell what is good, what is not good. And these are the various companies. And of course, in India also they are employing. Okay, 790. Still, it is a third biggest ones. Okay. And what is the impact on pharma industry? Of course, Brexit. Simple thing. UK is come out of the, what is it called, Europe. That is one thing. China is doing a lots of things. That's why everyone is scared of the China. Okay. And drug pricing. Okay. A lot of competitors are there. And immuno-oncology and addiction. This is one of the big things the people are looking at, where the pharma industry is investing. Okay. And you look at this investment they are making in 2020 and 2021. You can see the investment, the maximum investment is 17 million US dollars. Okay. That means AI is not a new thing. AI is already there in 1950s and 1960s. They tried few times. They thought that AI may not work in pharma industry, but nowadays the people started believing that AI is going to be a game changer. Okay. And you can see this vaccines clinical trials. Just I'm telling you, look at usually all these are the vaccines. In general, it will take 9 years, 10 years. Okay. But if you look at the COVID-19 vaccine, it's only 7 months. Okay. But that's why just sarcastically, I'm saying that in general, the animals were the test models. But first time I am seeing the humans are being used as a models, animal models to test the efficacy of the vaccines. Okay, that's why the animals should be happy, like rats and rabbits should be happy, because first time, because the COVID-19 vaccines are not giving to the rats or animals, directly they are giving to the humans. Okay, and this is the first time in the drug discovery, and this is one of the good learning experience for us. Okay, if COVID-19 is not there, we might have not seen how much development has happened in drug discovery and development. Otherwise, we think that, oh, for the drug to come out, we need to wait for 15 years. But this COVID-19 pandemic told us 1 year could be sufficient. Okay, of course, these are the various things. I think I will stop here. Okay, I think, yeah, because Prof. Lakshman gave a strict warning to me. I should complete by 5:30. Okay, sorry,
Yes,
according
sir.
to your time, 6 minutes left. So I am stopping here. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Any questions?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing valuable knowledge with us by taking live examples of COVID-19. Thank you, sir. And dear participants, if you have any queries, please raise your hands or unmute yourself. Sir is ready to clarify your doubts.
Hi, Lakshman sir, are you there?
I am there.
Okay, okay.
I am listening your
Well,
lecture.
I followed your I followed your this thing. Am I right? Did I meet all your expectations?
Exactly, sir. All the topics you covered, that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
clinical trials and everything.
Yeah, but it's okay. Am I right? It meets your purpose. Am I right? The purpose
Yes,
of the
sir.
meeting. Okay.
Exactly, exactly. Hmm. You are doing lot of work, including softwares also you covered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you told me very clearly, ma, don't talk only general things. You also tell me, what are the things that the people can use, ma. Right?
Exactly, sir. Hmm.
So I have to follow your instructions.
You are associate in, sir, in
Whatever may be
reputed
thing, but
university.
no. But actually, you are the one, am I right? I need to follow your, because
Yes.
as long as I meet the expectations, whatever you say, you ask me to finish by 3 o'clock, I finish.
Definitely, with
You ask me
pleasure,
to say
sir.
something.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir. Although you are
Okay.
busy in your schedule in your Malaysia, for the
Yeah, yeah.
benefit of our faculty, you participated in our event. We are very fortunate to have a speaker like you.
Actually, I have cancelled some of the meeting. I have to run back. I know that this one I have postponed.
Yeah, the timings is different compared to your country. Exactly. Just wait,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Vivi Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, it's my honor to present. Please accept it, sir. Thank you, sir. I request all the participants fill the feedback and assignments. Link will be provided in chat box.
Madam, I will be happy if you share the feedback, sir. Lakshman sir.
Sure, sir. Sure,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
I will call you, sir. I will be in touch.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can
Thank
I
you very
exit or
much.
no? Can I
Yes,
exit?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thanks for giving me opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Bye, sir. Bye.
Sir, shall I close, sir?
Padmala, close the session.
Yes, sir.
Okay.